Hello, can you hear me? There should be a chat box. Gary, can you hear me? There should be a chat box somewhere. Otherwise, I'm in Discord right now. Okay, just making sure. All right, I think everybody's here. Harira, is that how we pronounce that? Can you hear me? Is the chat box not working? This should be up in... Oh, I'm gonna mute you. There we go. So, oh, there we go. I see Carrie's in chat now. Good. Okay. There we go. All right. Now, can everybody see my my screen with the Mailchimp dashboard? It should be the one showing. Okay. Good. Awesome. So this is Mailchimp. I'm going to start with their main screen. And one of the reasons why we like Mailchimp is, and a lot of the different email services have this, but they were kind of one of the early ones. They have this forever free plan, which is real nice. You get up to 2,000 subscribers, and you can send a combined 12,000 emails a month, which for small people, that's more than enough. So that's one reason we like Mailchimp, is that we do have this option for smaller businesses, or, you know, for hobbyists, that you're not spending a ton of money to send emails. So why do we like Mailchimp? One, it definitely lets you get around that Gmail, you know, oh, you've sent 200 emails today. That's it. You're going to stop. Don't like that. It's horrible. So this allows you to send, you know, I have clients who, you know, email thousands of people at once because they're using a service for it. And you've probably got Mailchimp, you know, handled emails in your inbox every day. This is how big they are. You know, major companies use them to send out mailing lists, you know, newsletters. So you probably get at least one email a day handled by them, if not multiple. So, so when we log in, you know, we get your, this is a little bit different from the starting screen because my account's been around a while, but usually you'll get a let's do this first screen. So I'm going to skip over the how to sign up. The sign up's pretty easy. So next, I'll go ahead and just walk you through a couple have-to-do things. So when you open one of these, the biggest things you have to remember is that there are a couple laws you have to keep in mind. One is that you do need a physical address. And the reason for this is the US CAN spam law. And that is so that, there's, somewhere to, send complaints to. So they want a physical address, which I know kind of sucks, but it's just kind of the way of the land on this one. And if you're running a zine or something out where you're mailing things anyway, they're going to figure it out when they receive things. So it's more just a nuisance. The other thing you're going to always need to have in every email is an unsubscribe option. That's another part of the CAN spam law, is that you have to have this unsubscribe. And Mailchimp's really nice. You put your contact information in your settings. So what you do is you come to account and then settings, contact information, and then you handle your, you can just put all your information there. And Mailchimp's really nice. It has some footer short codes. So it pulls it in automatically. It'll also automatically pull in that unsubscribe button. So you don't have to do that every time. It handles this really nicely. The other thing you have to keep in mind with the law is the new GDPR, and that requires what's called informed consent. So if you're expecting anybody from the EU to join your mailing list, they have to have informed consent. Now this is for signups, I think for zines it's a little bit more, you've already got the information, but if you're running a, just as an artist or an author, it's just kind of something to keep in mind, that when you have people sign up to your mailing list, you have a form that that they just have this little checkbox. Mailchimp, once again, handles this really well, so you're not going to have a lot to deal with, but it's just something to keep in mind when you're building things. So first things first, I think that after I'm keeping the chat open, so if you have questions, I'm kind of keeping an eye on it, just shoot one over. But we've only got a limited amount of time, so I'm going to kind of run through this fast. So what I'm going to start with is the lists, because this is, super easy and nice, and especially for the bangs and the zines, it's going to make your life so much nicer. So you see I have a few of my lists already, but I'm going to create a test list just to show how this works. I'm going to create a list, and I'm just going to create a test list here. So this is my list name, test list, and my default email address. When you create an email for the first time, or even with your account verification, it's going to send an email to whatever from email account you're using. So you're going to want to click that, because what it wants to do is it wants to verify that you own access to that email account, so that you can't impersonate somebody else. It won't send unless you have a verified email account. Just one of those little security things. Every major email service does that. It's just security, and you kind of want that. Default from name, we're going to say that. You have your URL settings. It's not a big deal. So you also want a reminder of how people signed up for your list. So I'm just going to use one of my standards, but you can just write that in. Check your contact information, see why it's there. So I'll enable GDPR fields so I can show that when I show how to do a sign-up form. Double opt-in I don't think is necessary, but it's what a double opt-in is when somebody signs up to your email address, they can either sign up once and be done, just fill out the form, you're done. Double opt-in means they fill out the form, then they get an email, then they have to click a link in the email to confirm that they want it on. A lot of people might miss that email, and then they don't end up on your list. So it's up to you if you're getting a lot of fishy looking accounts signing up, then you can enable it. Otherwise, I tend to leave that off. Notifications, this is just how often you want to be told when somebody signs up to your list. I pick daily summary if I do anything. I'm going to skip that right now. So here's my new list. And I'm going to get rid of that. So there's 2 ways to add a contact. So I'm going to show how to do an import. This is, once again, important for zines and bangs. And we're going to go with the comma-separated value or tab delimited text file. And let's see. So I have a test. I have a test mailing list here. And comma-separated value, if you don't know, is just a, it's like an Excel spreadsheet, but it's just saved in this different format. So, you know, you're going to have a column for name, you're going to have a column for email address, you're going to have a column for extra information. So I'm going to import my mailing list. And you can see here I've got, you know, a few different columns. I made a tracking number just to have. So you're going to want to save each column. So I have my first name, last name, email, and then this is going to be a new column, and I'm just going to call that tracking number. You can do this however you want to do. So I'm going to save that, and it's going to import. And make sure it says subscribed there. If you want to unsubscribe or clean, you can do that too, and that'll remove. Cleaned and unsubscribed removes people from your list, but we're subscribing today. So we're going to import this, and you can see now I have my 5 people from my test list. So that's one way, and that's going to be the fastest way for organizers to get people in, because you've already got a spreadsheet from your sign-up forms. So it's just a matter of mass import them in. The other way to import people is one by one. So you can add a subscriber, and this just gives you a form. So I'm going to put my my pen name for porn here. And that's all I need. You always want to, you're always going to have to do this with you add one by one, as this person gave me permission. And if this person's on your list up there at the profile, that's fine. You don't always have to do that. It's just one of those things. So now I have, you know, 6 people in my list. Now there is a third way, and that is for people to sign up. And that was the sign up form. So Tumblr is kind of iffy in that I've tried embedding forms, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So the easiest way to do a mailing list, so like if you see here on my Tumblr, I have my mailing list option, and it brings me to a page instead. So that's going to be the faster way to do this for Tumblr users. So you're going to go to Form Builder. Now the reason you might want a sign-up form, as an artist or an author, a sign-up form is really nice because it allows you to separate your fans from the platform. So if Tumblr went upside down tomorrow and all of a sudden things were bad, if you have a mailing list, you can still connect to your fans. You can say, hey, I went to Pillow4, I went to Facebook, I went to Twitter. Here's my new information. You can email them. You can email them, you know, little pieces. You know, you can just keep in touch with them a different way than standing alone on a social media profile. For the zines and the bangs, it's nice to have a sign-up form, because then when you announce, you know, you always have those people who are super interested in, you know, the zine or the topic for the bang. But what happens is, you know, 6 months down the line, when pre-orders start or whatever, the people who didn't want to contribute but were excited to have it, they might not, you know, see them social media posts saying pre-orders are open, or they might have moved to a different site themselves. So you're kind of lost in that gap of this initial excitement and people finding out later. And this lets you just say, hey, if you want to be emailed when it drops, just sign up. And that'll allow you to collect the emails at the beginning. And once again, 6 months later when it drops, you don't have to rely as much on the social media posts. You can look at those people who've signed up throughout and just shoot them an email going, hey, pre-orders are open. And it's just a nice, simple reminder. So what we're going to do is just a quick sign-up form. So I'm in Form Builder. And so this is my test list. And I'm going to edit that. And I'm going to say, sign up to receive information about X. So what you want is you always want their email address, of course. You can edit, a message. We'll just put in something here. The email address, first name. You don't have to collect the last name. That's up to you. But email address, first names are nice because then you can customize with merge fields, and I'll show you that in a minute. For zines, this might be interesting with the address, or if you're an artist who's doing giveaways through email. If you don't think you're going to use the address, what you can do is you can just delete the fields. This is a GDPR form, by the way. So that's why it has that. So you can get rid of fields, you can add fields. It's, once again, I don't think I'm ever going to use a phone number, so I'm going to take that away. And tracking number is not something anybody's going to sign up with. So once again. All right, so the marketing permissions, this is that GDPR stuff. Technically, you're supposed to have a privacy policy. I think you could probably just, write it in somewhere in here. So direct mail, obviously, I wouldn't need, so I would delete that. And it wants to delete everything, so I'm going to skip rather than, and I wouldn't use custom online advertising. I'd just be doing email. Once again, choose the marketing permissions you need. This is that GDPR stuff. And then, you have your subscribe to list. So whenever it's ready, I can copy that. And you'll see that, there's your sign up form. So people can come in, they can sign up to your list without you having to add them. Once again, just a nice way to keep in contact with people. When you have that email, what you want to do for Tumblr is come in and you probably have already all done this, but you kind of put it into that little summary where everybody puts their coffee links. So just the description box there, you're going to use your code. I'm sure you guys have done that before. So we got about 20 minutes left. Before I move on to actually making emails, are there questions on what I've covered so far? Okay. Yeah, my birds they're very chattery. So next we're gonna do so we'll do just a test email, and I'm not gonna send this out, but once again, really easy stuff, and it's nice because it is so easy. So we're just gonna create a campaign. I'm gonna do an email. So test list. And you can do automated emails much the same. So if somebody signs up for your list, you don't have to email them one by one. You can do an automated when they come on. Say, thanks for signing up. We'll let you know when X happens. Not a big deal. So who are we sending this campaign to? This is all very straightforward stuff. But I'm going to say my test list. So we're going to personalize the to field, and we're going to go with the merge tag of the first name. You don't have to do the to field. It's, whatever. But it's nice. So just an option. I'm actually going to take that off. So there's that. We're going to save. So it's all, contacts. We're going to add the from. Obviously, it's coming from me. The subject is going to be test. And test, just to do this fast. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to go design email. Now I like to have a little bit more control. You can see there's a bunch of pre-done templates. So I'm just going to go with something super simple here. We're going to go one column. And sometimes it takes a minute. Okay. So for, the logo, this is nice because this just comes to a level of professionalism, it's going to look real nice. So I'm going to upload this. So there's like my logo if I wanted to do one. So like once again, it just looks professional. You do things like that. Remember earlier when I was talking about the canned spam and how it has the mailing list address and the unsubscribe, that's already down here. So you can add, this is the footer area, but you kind of want to leave it alone. You can add to it. I wouldn't take anything out usually, unless you wanted to take out like the copyright, things like that. But always leave the mailing address and always, leave this want to change with your update or unsubscribing. So those are those things kind of required by law. You can add and remove all your social media icons. So let's say I want to change my website to my Tumblr. And you'll just come in and, you'll have to put in your addresses on your own there, but you can add, and we'll add one more. So you can, have wherever you think it'll be. Instagram. So, but you can, move, and you can move things around in your emails. If you want something somewhere else, you can just drop the blocks elsewhere. It's pretty easy to move things around. Some of the templates have sidebars, some are straight like this. So it just kind of depends on how you want things to look. All your content blocks are super easy. So I'm going to go in here real quick with merge tags. Merge tags are really, really useful. I think especially if you have, not everybody has, first name, last name. I've had plenty of email lists given to me with just email addresses, but if you're collecting first names or even contact names at all, merge tags are your friend. So we're going to go hello, and then here is your merge tags. And I'm going to say first name. So you can see how it's going to have the first name. And that's, when they get the email, what it's going to do is it's going to have, their username. If they use the username, it's going to have their first name. So it adds a little bit more personalization. So like if you've seen with the zines, what happens is when they send out the rejected letters, it'll often be, hello applicant, hello, or just hello. It may not even say applicant. And if you look, it'll often have a BCC. These are mass sending. Well, it does have a little bit of a cold feeling. So even just this little thing, hello, me, we're sorry. But it adds that little personal touch, which is kind of a nicety. And then you can always preview your email. After you get everything set up the way you want, and you can see how it's going to look. So one of the names on my list, so you can see when I enabled the live merge tag info, it picked a name from my list, and so it's whatever name is going to, so you can kind of see who's getting it and make sure it gets their name right. Once again, it's just a nicety. It does give it that little bit more of a personalized touch, and it's so easy to do. There, you can do custom merge tags. So if you're doing things like tracking information, or or if you've got something where this is your partner, you can upload that in your spreadsheets. But the custom merge tags are a little bit more of a finicky thing, so I'm just going with the basic included ones today, which is your first name, last name, things like if you wanted to double check addresses, you could say, and if you were collecting addresses, you could say, this is the address we have on file for you, confirm before we send, things like that. And of course, that can all be done with merge tags, and that way it's just handled. It's really eliminates a lot of the hassle. When you're ready to send your email, you can see we did the preview. You can also send yourself a test email. Check it, make sure it arrives good, see if you like how it lays out, and then oops, I'm gonna go back one. So I'm actually going to edit the design one. Yes, it is. You can also, once you're happy with how your email looks, you can save it as a template. I'm going to just say that, and that way you don't have to do this every time. You can come back and you can say, just start from your template, whatever that is, and that way all you have to do is change the content. You'll already have your header image, you'll already have your footer, you'll already have all your social media icons. It'll just be ready to go. Just change your content. So the templates are really nice, and you can save it right from there. It's not a huge thing. So when you're ready to send, it is kind of a fun email, isn't it? Verbal test. So when you're ready to send, here's it'll show you that preview. You can either send it right away, or let's say you want to hit people all at a particular time, you can schedule it. So I'm just going to say finish later because this obviously is going nowhere because I have a whole bunch of test.com, and I don't know if that would bother people at test.com. So I'm going to just finish this later. And then, like I said, you don't have to send it right away. You can just leave it as a draft. So one more thing, and we're actually going to go back to lists, because this is one thing that's also nice about the list, but is much more specific probably to artists and maybe authors. We're going to go over list groups real quick in our 10 minutes we have left. Whoops, where'd that go? All right. So we're going to manage contacts. And under manage contacts, we have something called groups. Now this can be useful to the zines and the banks, but I think this is much more, especially an artist thing if they're participating in cons or anything like that. So what we can do is we can create a group. And then when people sign up on their form, and I'll show you again how the form changes. So we're going to add checkboxes so people can select more than one on the sign up form. You can just do as ready button if you only want them to do one. So we're going to do con location. So we're going to go with northeast, southwest, southeast, We're going to go with California just because. So we're going to have these different, so when people sign up on the list through the sign up forms, I'm going to go back to the sign up form so we can see it. Go. Now, when somebody signs up, you know, if they want to get emails just about, you know, one location in the country, you can say, okay, I'm gonna be, you know, at a con in California or, you know, in Florida, and you can say, okay, well, who's my people in the Southeast or who's my people in California, and you can design an email. And I'm gonna go back now to the emails to kind of show where that would happen. So with the test list email, I'm just going to come back to it. So we're going to come back to the edit recipients, and we're going to actually go to the group, and we're going to go to con location, and we're going to go to California, let's say. So that way, when we do this contacts match with the con location, only the people who have signed up to receive emails about the California conventions, only they're going to see that email. So you're not sending, you know, to several hundred people this information. I'm going to be here when it doesn't apply to most of them. That'll just kind of be for the people who they want to know about where you're going to be and how, you know, and then you can email it. And some people might want to learn about all of them. So you might want to have an all conventions tag. Some might only want their region, but it's just kind of, once again, you don't have to send out an email to everybody, so you can tailor that down. With the zines and the bangs, I could see this being kind of useful. Okay, it can kind of, you know, be useful, but I definitely see it more for the artist author. And what other questions do we have? What was I too fast on? Because I think we got about 5 minutes left. I want to kind of keep it, even though they just gave me extra time. I think half an hour is good, actually. Anything I need to go over again, too, that's fine. Did I put you to sleep? You think you're good? Alrighty. Well, I guess let me know, you know, if you guys have more questions. This, like I said, this is a very basic intro, but you know, it does kind of get you the idea of how it's, um, you know, how it can be used in different ways. And for a free product, I mean, it eliminates a lot of hassles, especially I think with the comma separated value upload, because there's no more copy and pasting all those emails into, you know, into Gmail BCCs. This is literally a upload it and you can pay everybody at once. It's really friendly, really easy to use, and I think that if people start using them, they'll realize how much nicer it makes life. So, thank you both for coming. I will probably, I've been recording this, I will probably upload this somewhere, assuming that it copied my audio, and that way other people can look. But once again, let me know if you have any other questions, and I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting now. Thank you much. End meeting.